Okay, we are back and we're working on Mike's car. And for part 2 of the video, we're gonna just deal with only the clutch pedal install and the manual brake pedal install and the master cylinder install. So we're not gonna do anything else but that, because this does take some time, and actually it's my least favorite part of the video or of this process, because you're basically working on your back upside down to do this. The easiest way to do this, I always take the car off the lift if you're working on a lift, or if I'm on jack stands, take it off the jack stands, get it on the ground where you can open the door wide open. And then what else makes it really easy is taking the seat out. So there's 4 14mm bolts. I take the seat completely out of the car so I can lay in there flat on my back on the floor and have lots more room to work. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, you can see the seat is out now. And under the seat, there's also a little box that is, I think it's a security system. So I pull it out of there so that thing's not stabbing me in the back. But the next step then is we're gonna remove that footrest. We're gonna remove this interior panel here that slides back this way. So you're gonna remove all this out of here, and it just pops out. Just be careful with it, because you don't wanna break the clips. And then there is one push screw that's on that front side of it, so you have to pop that out with the screwdriver. But I'm going to go ahead and get all this other interior miscellaneous stuff removed, so that way we can get up under there and start working on the pedals. The next step is to remove the brake pedal. And as you can see here, the automatic brake pedal is way wider than the factory 6-speed or manual pedal. So you're going to remove the bolt that holds the pedal in place, and then you're going to pull the pedal out, keep all the hardware that's on the pedal, the existing hardware we're going to reuse on the new pedal. Here you can see we're looking up at the brake pedal. This is the factory automatic pedal. From underneath, you can see there is a certain order of washers that go up there on that gold colored bolt that passes through the brake pedal. And then there is a pin that goes through here that I already removed. But just keep an eye on those, the order of those washers, because you want to keep that the same way when you go to reinstall the new pedal. And you can see there is a washer on the inside too. That is probably the trickiest part of this install, is getting that washer back in there when you go to reinstall the new pedal. The automatic pedal and the manual pedal, and I'm going to move over the hardware that's required. So there's these 2 little bushings that are in here, and you're going to move those over to the new pedal. And then there's this little rubber stopper that we're going to move over as well. And then this is the bolt that I pulled out, and this is the washer that goes on the inside of the bracket, and these are the washers that go on the outside. So just keep those in order. Here's the pin that goes through for the pedal. So that's pretty much it. And we're not going to go ahead, after I do this, we're not going to install the pedal yet, because I want to have as much real estate under that dash for me to be able to work to install the actual clutch pedal assembly first. And then I'll come back and install this brake pedal. So you can see here in this right-hand drive car that's a factory manual, the holes for the master. Now this is a little different because we're going to be working on a left-hand drive car, so it's going to be over there. But I can kind of tell what size hole I need to drill hole saw wise to get that to be the proper size for the master to pass through. So 1.5 inches is almost just perfect. It's a little bit larger than stock, but it should be fine. So I'm going to use 1.5 inch hole saw bit, and we're going to use that to come through. And when I drill it from the backside, so up under the dash. It's tight. You'll need a 90-degree drill for this. So here you can see under the dash, and this is you can kind of see the little creases here in the firewall that kind of tell you where to drill the holes. The 3 holes that we need to drill. So there's one here, you can see this little crease, and then you can see the big circle. That's going to be kind of like your template to use when you drill out for the master to pass through. And then up here in the upper corner, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but there is a little crease right here under this kind of, I'm going to have to get rid of that off of there so you can see it better, but I don't know if you'll be able to do that. But anyway, there's the 3 holes that we're going to need to drill. Now, unfortunately for me, this person had probably put an alarm system or something in here, and they had these grommets pass through. So now it's going to make it a little bit more fun for me to drill this hole out with the hole saw, because now my pilot is not going to have anything to really keep me centered very well. So it's going to be an interesting job to drill this hole out here. One of the other things I do is I normally trim this firewall insulation back some, because it just doesn't give you enough room to get in here and work. So I usually trim this out about 1/2 inch all the way around to give me some more room. Here you can see I trimmed out some of that insulation. So now you can see the lines a little bit more clear where I need to drill. And I have my angle drill set up here with my 1.5 inch bit to go ahead and do that center one, which is going to be fun, but we'll see how that works out. And then one other thing I forgot to mention is up here, you want to cut some of that insulation out as well so you can get your upper bracket to fit onto that bolt hole there, because that's going to be your upper bolt hole for the clutch pedal assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this hole saw bit out first, and then we'll come back and do the two side holes as well. Okay, so now you can see my 3 holes are done, and the center one wasn't as bad as I thought. It actually went pretty smooth. So the outer bolts, now I always drill them a lot larger just to give you a little more room to wiggle around to get that install done a lot easier in case you're just a little bit off center. I use a 3/8 size bit when I do those outer bolt holes. So I'm going to go ahead now and start installing the clutch pedal itself. The next step is to actually assemble your master cylinder kit. So this includes the master, the reservoir, the clamp to hold it the reservoir on and tight and sealed up with the O-ring, the fitting on the front, 2 shorter studs that pass through the front like this, and then you have the 2 longer studs that pass through the firewall and back into the pedal assembly. Now, the way to know that you installed this right, and because you could flip this the wrong way, is the side that goes towards the firewall should have this extra hole in the back. So that's the one way to tell. So you want to set it up something like this. This is going to be the easiest way to install it. Get the clevis installed on there with the jam nut so that it's ready to go. And that way you can just easily spin it while underneath the dash. You don't have to worry about trying to get this started on there under the dash. That always makes things a lot harder. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in the car. This is the clutch pedal assembly as it comes from me, fully assembled, all ready to go. This is the master cylinder ready to go. So this is the one bolt that you're going to use that comes with the pedal assembly that goes up through into the dash bar. So that's going to go in there like that. So I wanted to show you how this is assembled outside the car so you can understand how it works. So the clevis slips through here and the studs go through the firewall just like this. And that is installed. And then this pin goes through the clevis once it's all installed. So you can slip this down in from the outside, and then you'll slip the pedal in from under the dash. With the stock ABS in place, you can actually get this to snake down in there, but I do recommend removing these bolts and kind of pulling this ABS unit up out of the way so that you can slip this down in easier and have a little bit of room to work. But you can see that I can get this to go on just fine down through here, but it doesn't give you very much room to work. So I do recommend removing that ABS. Okay, so now you can see that I have the pedal assembly slid on to the Heim and slid onto the studs, and you can see I got that one silver bolt there in the center of the screen there started on the stud that comes through the firewall. Now the other one's hidden back there where you can't see. It's the treat to get to, so you'll have fun getting that one. But then there's also the bolt that is up here in the top that goes up into the dash bar, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you that or not. You can kind of see right there in the center of the screen. I haven't put the bolt in there, but at least I have it lined up. So I'm going to start that one, and then I'm going to start to pull down the stud that's coming through the firewall, and then I'll get that last one that's hidden last, because it's just the hardest one to get to, and you want to have as much stud sticking through there as you can so you can get that nut started on it. Okay, so here you see the clutch pedal is now installed, and while I was up under here and swearing at this, I installed the brake pedal as well. You can see I reinstalled the spring and the pin, and I also installed the pin here in the Heim for the master, and that is not adjusted yet there on that. We will do that when we bleed the clutch. So just as long as you get the pin in there and get it all installed, everything should be good. So that is it. That is the worst part of this whole swap. I'll be totally honest. Doing this up under the dash is the worst part. So you'll probably swear at this thing a couple times while you do this, but once you get through this point, it's all downhill from here. Here you can see the master cylinder with the billet adapter installed on the firewall side, and you can see just how tight it is in here with everything with the ABS, but it is a nice snug fit. Everything bolts up really nice. So I am going to do a right-hand drive version of the same video. So those of you guys who want to do this swap to a right-hand drive Supra, it's basically the same exact process for this. other than the pedal install is a little different on the right-hand drive cars. So I will do that, and then I'll put a link here in this video linking you out to the right-hand drive if that's where you're going. Now that the clutch pedal and all of that setup is done, I'm going to go ahead and put this interior back together and put the trim back in. You can see there's 3 pedals now, which is awesome. And we still have the center console out, and I'm going to leave that out because in the next step, in the next video, we're going to do the tunnel cover conversion here. So we're going to convert this auto tunnel into a manual tunnel.